going to be helping me with the PowerPoint, so I appreciate that. I'm going to try to go through this PowerPoint slide from memory as much as possible, but I do have my handy cheat sheet here, so excuse me if I do flip through it. And I thank herself for inviting me here, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I think we've already done most of these slides, but this just tells a little bit of where I graduated, and I actually finished getting that darn master's degree two months ago. So I do have my master's in business administration, and I do have a passion for helping small businesses. And before we go any further, let me just say that I am old enough to practice law, and there are a lot of people probably wondering that. I have no idea why I look that young, but I am. I've been doing this for a little while, so I am old enough to practice. So what I'm going to do during this presentation is two things. The first one is go over the 10 common terms used in business contract. My practice, I do have a virtual law firm that does all the things that Monica stated before, and it is virtual, and we do documents, not just legal documents, and then we use the internet sort of as a conduit to get all your information before we draft or review your document, but it's not an end product like legal Zoom. Okay, next. Okay, there's the presentation overview. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about the top 10 business tips for success. And what I'm going to do is alternate between both legal and business tips, put that MBA to good use. And then second, I'm going to tell you how you continue to get business legal tips through some of the things that I do. A few disclaimers. You got to go back to disclaimers, man. I got to say disclaimers. A good attorney has a few disclaimers. So here's the first disclaimer, the limit of my practice. I'm only authorized to practice law in Georgia, so don't think you're going to take this back to Kentucky or overseas, because it's not going to work. So I'm limited to Georgia, so anything I say during this presentation is only limited to Georgia. And then the second thing is the attorney-client relationship. There's going to be an opportunity for Q&A at the end, but I can only answer general questions because I don't want to violate the attorney-client privilege. So just ask me general questions, and I know that link is a little hard to read, but we're going to email out these presentations, correct? So you'll have a hard copy of them, so you'll just be able to go through them and get that link. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, a few favors. The first one is if you are a Twitter person, we're on Twitter, so feel free to follow us and tweet throughout this event. You don't have anything to write on, so I know you need something to do. And then smile. I have my marketing director over here who's videotaping this presentation, and he might want to speak with a few of you afterwards. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so tip number one is know your SWOT. And what this stands for is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. How many of you are existing business owners? Okay, maybe I should ask the opposite question. How many of you are thinking about going into business and haven't? Okay, well great. This is the exercise for either one of these categories. What this stands for is strengths. What are my company's internal values and capabilities? Weaknesses. What are my company's internal issues or problems, opportunities? What are the external factors? The things that I can't. What are the external factors that are presented for making money and growing, and then threats? What are the external factors that are presented for losing money or stagnating growth? So this is a good opportunity for business owners who are existing, but those that are thinking about growing a business, to sit down and think about these four things. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats? So we're going to try a little exercise, because sometimes a lot of people get a little confused about what is the difference between the four of these. So we're going to go to the next slide and try this. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're going to make this a little more interactive. So out of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that you can go over in your business, who wants to tell me what the political turmoil in the country that you're currently located, which one of the S, W, O's, or T's you think that might be? Right, it's a threat. And the reason that it's a threat is because it's external and obviously it's something bad for your business. Okay, let's go over to the next one. How about this one? A new software that your company has that none of your competitors has. Which one of the SWOs?
Strength.
Yes. And the reason that's a strength is because it's internal. Okay, a new trend for fast food eaters who want to eat more healthy. What would that be? SWO or T?
Opportunity.
Right. So you're getting it. I see more and more people. And then the last one, you are short-staffed most of the time. What would that be? Weakness. Right. And then the reason for this exercise is once you've identified what your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats are, you can be able to take advantage of the opportunities and lessen the weaknesses. And it's very good to do with sort of your biggest competitor. I do it with law firms all the time. I do it with other online document places that might pop up. And it's good to do on a regular basis so that you know where your weaknesses are, where you need to improve, but also to know what your competitors' weaknesses are, because you can play on that. That can be something that can make you different. Okay, so we're going to go over to tip number 2, which is hire an expert if it's needed. You can either do this one or two ways. You can insource, which just means you sort of send it to another department, but it's still within the company. Or you can outsource, but the point is the same. If there's something that you don't know how to do, chances are you're probably better off letting someone else do it. I'm going to give you an example of this once I give you the 3 main reasons for outsourcing. The first one is to focus on main capabilities. I give an example of I went to law school for a reason, and so I don't do my own payroll because lawyers generally don't know how to count. I don't know if any of us will admit that to you, but I will admit it, okay? So I don't do my own payroll services. I don't do my own bookkeeping or anything like that. I am good at practicing law. I let somebody else do that who is much better than me to do it. The second one is to save costs. One example of that would be I have the paper and the ink. I could make my own business cards. But after I finish running off all the ink and using all the paper, it would just be easier if I gave it to Vistaprint or somebody else to do the card. So that's another reason that most people outsource. And then the next one is to form strategic partnerships. So for example, I know a lot of financial planners. Are there any financial planners in here before I start talking about it? So financial planners are attracted to lawyers like moths to a flame. So I have a lot of friends that are financial planners, and so the deal that we come up with is, I'll let you, review my finances and give me a business checkup if you refer clients. That's another reason that I don't do my own financial planning, so that's another reason that I would outsource, is to have that strategic partnership. Okay, so we're going to try another exercise here to see how many of you are business experts in the area of contract terms. And I think later on I'm going to have a presenter talk about agreements, so this will be a precursor to that. Okay, so everybody raise your hand if you know at least what one of those terms up there means. Come on, give yourself some credit if you have a general view of what at least one of them means. Raise them high. Don't be shy. It's okay. I'm not going to try to recruit you to law school. Keep up. Okay. How many of you, keep your hands up if you know what either half of those terms mean? Come on, keep them high. Keep them high. If you know what half of them mean, keep them high. Okay, raise your hand if you know what all those terms mean. And their common law, what they mean under common law and how they differ under the Georgia statute. Anybody? Okay. How many of you know that under the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 2, which is the Uniform Commercial Code that deals with contracts and the movement of goods, how many of you know that as a business owner, it's possible for you to accept a contract without you ever signing one piece of paper? How many people knew that? Raise them up. That's good. We have at least 2 or 3 people. The Uniform Commercial Code has to be one of the most frustrating areas of law. But if you are a business that sells goods, you're required to to know pretty much that Article 2 use of the Uniform Commercial Code. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going back to getting somebody who knows that code, because a lot of business owners don't understand that once you hold yourself out as a merchant, it is very possible for someone to send you a bid, and if you don't reject it within a reasonable time period, which usually can be 3 months, it can be 2 weeks depending on the judge, you would have accepted that offer without once looking at it. That's what I'm talking about, getting an expert, because a lot of people didn't know that. Okay, we're going to go over to the next slide. Okay, tip number 3, and this is one that's near and dear to my heart, because a lot of business owners don't do this. What's the next thing? Say, what's the next one? And this is the plainest way that I can see it. Say, don't get stuck in your daily duties of running your business that you miss the forest because of the trees. Has anybody ever heard that hearing before? They say it all the time in lawsuits. But what it pretty much says is you can get so stuck in details of doing payroll, of doing this and that little thing, that you don't step back and see the bigger picture of your business. And a lot of times that can hurt you. Details matter, but only in the overall context in your whole business. So go to the next slide. So what I try to do is give an overall view to my business clients about some of the things that they should be thinking about. You can click on that. This is an initiative that we have called Walking Wednesdays, where we give businesses 30 minutes, and we go through a 10-point analysis, business and legal analysis for them, Wednesdays from 8 to 10:30 at the Commerce Club. But these are some of the things that you should, think about. You don't have to think about it every day, but these are the things that you should think about overall throughout your business to make sure that you're a well-rounded person and that you're not getting stuck in the details. Because running a business, many of you know you're the janitor and you're the secretary, and sometimes you're your own spouse. I mean, it gets crazy like that. So make sure that you have a very well-rounded view of your business. Let's go to the next one. Okay, tip number 4. This is take documents seriously. Click it one more time. Let's see what's up there at the top. Okay, so this is my saying. There's 5 people on earth that I don't mess with: God, my mom, and the I, the R, and the S. Nobody can shut you down faster than the IRS. So any documents that you get, especially from the IRS, you might ignore your lawyer for a minute, but the IRS has police. They have police that know everything about you and will come literally in the middle of the night and take everything, and you are left with a tire. I mean, they have ways of getting what they want. So I tell my business owners to make sure that you pay attention to not only all documents, but specifically IRS documents, because they will get you. Documents, when I say documents, that includes emails, legal documents, non-legal documents, faxes, text messages, tweets, etc. Once you take information that is private and you make it public, that's when you're going to start getting into trouble legally. So just think about that. A lot of people think, oh, I'm just sending this email, it's not going to get anywhere, or they think I'm going to post something on Facebook and it's not going to get out, or it can't be used in court. Think again. Once you take things from private to public, there's always a chance that it can get into any number of court proceedings. So just be conscious of that and take documents like that seriously. And specifically, contracts and agreements have legal meaning, of course, and consequences, but those are not the only documents that do. Okay, these are some general business contract tips, and I know you can't see that link at the end, but that's where you can get the audio version of this presentation. But some general contract tips, and I know you can't write down these all, but listen to me for a second. The first one is that make sure you have all the pages to a contract generally. A lot of times what I see that happens with business owners is they get a document that's not numbered on the bottom, and they sign the last page, and then, oops, it was missing 5 or 6 pages of really important information. Make sure you have all the pages. A smart attorney, a good attorney, is going to number those pages at the bottom and have you initial each one of the pages. So just please make sure you have all the pages. It's a simple thing to ask, and it's very, very important. The second thing is to make sure the essential terms are in the contract. I know a lot of business owners might want to draft their own contracts, and if You know, if that's what you want to do, that's fine with me. I don't recommend it at all. But if you're going to draft your own contract, you have to give the court something to work with. So coming up with a two-sentence contract that doesn't have the terms, doesn't have price, doesn't even have, you know, an address in it, the court is going to throw that out because you need essential terms to even make a contract. So please make sure your contract has those essential terms in it. The third one is beware of contracts based in Georgia are construed against the drafter. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what that means and how important that is. Under Georgia law, the courts assume that if you drafted a contract that you knew what you were doing. So say, for example, you get to court or you get in a mediation or you get before a fact finder and you drafted the contract and the other party didn't. And the fact finder or the judge looks at this contract and says, well, I see that this can go either way. They're going to rule in favor of the other party because the contract is construed against you because you drafted it. And the assumption is if you drafted it, you knew what you were doing. So be very, very careful about drafting other contracts. If you don't want to hire an attorney, you know, get the other side to draft it. At least you got that going for you. Okay, number 4 is to make sure the contract has a signature line in your official capacity with your company. Otherwise, you could be a personal guarantor. And I wish I could go into this a lot more because this gets a lot of business owners in trouble. Is they will have a lease, and the lease won't have a personal guarantor clause in it or anything like that. But they get down to the signature line, and it just has Joe Smith. No company, no LLC, no title, anything like that, and they just sign it. And you know what the other side does when they go to sue them? This person signed in their personal capacity. They didn't put the company, they didn't put the title, so be very, very careful of that. Most agreements are probably already going to have a personal guarantee clause in that, and no matter what you put in there, that's still going to make you personally liable. But if there is not a personal guarantee clause, make sure if you only want to sign in your official capacity that it has the title and the address of the business and the business name, and not you individually. The 5th thing is save revisions of a contract as well as of other correspondence. That goes back to what we were talking about, that documents are important, so take them seriously. So, you know, save copies of what you were talking about before you came up with the final document. Number 6, make sure the other side has authority to bind, and I see this a lot too. Especially with small business owners, maybe you've been working with one person and this person has told you they are the CEO, the principal, the buck stops here, and then something happens and you find out this person was secretary, maybe just made up this company out of thin air. You have to make sure that the other side has the authority to bind, because what happens is if you go to court, you're going to have to sue that person individually. You're not going to be able to sue that business because the business, you know, the business had nothing to do with that contract. And one of the ways that you can prevent all that from happening is you can go on the Secretary of State's website. You can look up corporations there, or you can ask for a board resolution if you're dealing with a corporation. Just say, tell the board to send me a resolution authorizing this person to enter into this contract. Or you can get an email from the president or, you know, somebody higher up to say that this person has the authority to do X, Y, and Z, and lay it out for them so that you don't have those issues when they come up. And, you know, there will be a way to get around that, but you don't want to go through. Litigation is expensive. That's why my firm focuses on keeping you in business and out of court, because it's very, very expensive. Number 7, make sure your attorney understands the UCC Article 2 and can explain it to you. I've already went through that confusing scenario of how businesses get in trouble about entering into contracts and they never once saw the piece of paper. The UCC has very special provisions for business owners. We call them merchants. Now, if you practice in the area of services, the UCC doesn't apply to you and you're scot-free. But if you are selling tangible goods, the UCC applies to you, and it's some special provisions in there just for you. So make sure your attorney understands that. Number 8, read. Saying I did not read something is not an excuse. It's not a legal excuse. People, once they find out you're a business owner, are going to doubt your credibility because saying saying that you did not read is not a legal excuse, and so the court is not going to appreciate that. Number 9, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. There are a lot of sort of nuances to being a business owner and business law, such as the UCC, like I stated before. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and make sure you get experts that are going to be there no matter how long it takes to answer your questions, because as a business owner, you do need to know what is going on with your business. They don't have to teach it to you like a law school class, but you need to know enough about it that you can ask follow-up questions and know when things are wrong. And then the last one is, under Georgia law, businesses must be represented by counsel. Now, the judge in this case said, quote-unquote, corporations must be represented by counsel. But a lot of judges have taken that to not only mean corporations, but businesses. So if you go into a court order mandate, mediation or arbitration, or if you go to court, bring an attorney, because what's going to happen is the other side, if they're smart enough, or maybe the judge will do this, the judge is going to throw out, any of your answers. So if somebody sues you and you file an answer in your business, they sue the business and you try to answer on behalf of the business, it's very possible that that answer is going to be thrown out, which means you'll be in default, which means you'll have to pay the money, which means a whole host of things. So a lot of people don't know that, but if you're in a legal proceeding, courts must be represented by counsel. Okay, tip number 6, we're halfway there. The next one is invest. Particularly invest in experts and marketing. And it's hard for business owners during rough times to see the value in continuing to invest in their business. But just think about it. When times are bad, most people are cutting their marketing budgets. If you keep yours the same, your awareness is going to be higher. So you just make sure that you invest in experts, continue to invest in marketing. And I know it's counterintuitive, but you're going to get an advantage. And one of the things that I've learned that was taught to me is that you can tell what a person values by where they spend their money. Okay, so this is what do you value exercise? So I need everybody to just relax, do whatever it is you need to do to get relaxed, and just close your eyes and think about your checkbook, your business checkbook. Now I want to know about your personal, just your business checkbook. Close your eyes and think about right now those checks or those debits, and think about where the majority of your money went. Did it go to employees? Did it go to supplies? Did it go to marketing? Where did it go? Can somebody tell me where the top percentage, anybody who wants to share, where the top percentage of their money went? Anybody wants to share? Supplies? Okay. Labor costs are always high.
Bills.
Just bills in general. Marketing. This is a true story that I'm going to tell you. So I represent a non-profit company doing their business legal work. And for whatever reason, I had an opportunity to review their books, their bookkeeping books, for something that I was working on. And I saw all these entries of paying out to defendants in lawsuits. And I looked through, and it was something like maybe 30% of their business was just paying out lawsuits. Didn't go to labor, didn't go to anything else, paying out to lawsuits. And I turned to the principal and I said, you must really, really value paying out all this money to defendants. Because 30%, none of the other categories were anywhere near 30%. The highest percentage, 30% of paying out to settle cases with defendants. That's where the majority of their money is. Take a look at your checkbook, and I always like to say the next one. Is that a marketing plan is only a plan without resources behind it. So whatever plan you have, if you don't have any resources, if you don't have any money, it's just a plan. So make sure that you back up things like that with resources. And this is a true story too. I told the person that's the owner of this nonprofit corporation, I said, you know, for the thousands of dollars that you paid out to settle all these claims, if you would have gave me 10% of that, none of this would have happened. So that's what I'm talking about, getting to the investment mindset, investing in the right people, because in the long run, it will save you. Okay, tip number 7 is learn total quality management. And total quality management is something that I actually just learned in my MBA classes. And it deals with Toyota. Toyota has this model of making sure from beginning to end that there's quality in providing services to the client in every step of the process. So as business owners, I know we get busy, but that's something that we have to learn to create for our clients. It's value throughout the entire service product chain. From start to finish, you are creating value to your client. And the most important of these things, I think, would be feedback and follow-up, because how are you going to know if you're providing value to your client unless you ask them? And one of the examples I give is what I do with my own firm. So people can go on my website and they can upload a document, or either they can tell us what type of document that they want drafted. They immediately get an email. After they submit their email, they get a follow-up phone call with an attorney for 15 minutes to ask any number of questions. Just learn a little bit more about their business. Again, total quality. Then after that, they receive a follow-up email thanking them for their business and any price quotes that we might have out. Again, creating total quality and communicating with the client. And then we also offer 3 guarantees. After 24 hours after submitting their information, business owners are guaranteed this follow-up 15-minute phone conversation. 72 hours after they've told us or paid us whatever we asked for, they're guaranteed their document either drafted or reviewed or it's free. That's one of our guarantees. Give them peace of mind. And then the last one is a dispute guarantee, where if any provision in a document we drafted or reviewed is ever disputed, then we'll negotiate on their behalf free. But it doesn't stop there, because after we finish talking with our clients, we always send a follow-up survey and ask them what it is that we can do to make it better. So in your own businesses, think about TQM. Go back and look at your whole processes from start to finish. And at every step in that process, there should be total quality. And ask, how is this step creating value for my client throughout the whole process from start to finish? Okay, tip number 8 is stay out of social media legal trouble. How many of you are on social media? Raise your hand, don't be afraid. And then for the rest of you, why are you not on social media? So this is, you can't see that blog, but there's a link up there for a weekly blog that I do that talks about social media and how to stay out of social media problems. This is an evolving and exciting and a new area of law, but it still has the same traps as before. When we're talking about taking private information to public, it still has the same legal consequences. So be careful with social media. Some of the social media legal issues that come up all the time: harassment, defamation, employment issues, and IP issues. And if you click this again, these are some of the things that I blog about and some of the things that that you have to worry about in social media. 5 social media mistakes, precautions to take on social media, advice before you fire someone over a Facebook post. Now, this is a recent hearing that came down from the National Labor Relations Board. A group of individuals were, I guess they were talking bad about the boss on Facebook. Because I know nobody in here does, did that before you started your own business. And I'm sure none of your employees do that, so don't. But they got together and one would post something bad about the boss, and then somebody else would jump in and comment. And so anyway, what the decision held was it was protected under the Labor Act because it was a concerted effort. And what they meant by concerted was it wasn't just one person kind of going out and bad-mouthing the person, but they got together and bad-mouthing. So apparently, if it's just one person bad-mouthing, you might be all right. But if it's many people bad-mouthing you, then they are protected. So those are some of the legal issues that you have to worry about when you're talking about social media in general. And then I have on there 5 fabulous small business logos and how to legally protect protect them. A lot of business owners think that if they register at the state level, their trademark, that they're protected nationally, and that is not the case. So that's something else that I go into, and then 5 steps to creating a marketing plan and how not to get in trouble with marketing plans, especially those of you that have a business plan and are soliciting investors. Has anybody ever heard of the SEC? Okay, besides the IRS, I don't mess with the SEC. It's the Securities and Exchange Commission, and it's the federal agency that regulates investments and shares of that thing. And they can be very, very brutal too, and they are very critical of business plans. If you go around showing this business plan to get investors, they will shut you down almost as fast as the IRS. So make sure your business plans and things are in order. Okay, next one here is continuously net connect. This is not networking. Networking tends to be about me, and this is about you. It's active versus passive engagement, and consistency is key. Now, how many people are, somebody just shout out how many memberships you have in different clubs, like actually paid for them? Anybody have like 10 or more? Well, I don't need to tell you all. I don't know if it's because you want to or not, but what you should try to do is focus on those 3 or 4 that you can really get involved in and really get to know the person, because in networking, people have to see you. I've heard at least 5 to 7 times, or hear your voice or name 5 to 7 times before they actually get to know you and get to trust you. So trying to join sort of 10, 20 different organizations and only showing up once, that's not going to get you the return on investment you really want. So pick a few of them, stick to it, consistency is key, and make sure you get to know the other person. Now, these are some things to remember to ask. How can I help or add value to this person? What resources do I possess to do this? I know when you're in a crowd full of people and you're networking, you want them to shut up so you can tell them about your business. But the hardest thing you're going to learn as a business owner is just to be quiet and listen to what they have, and then offer a suggestion so you can start building that rapport. It takes a very, very long time to sort of get used to that, especially when you're an anxious business owner. But just make sure that you know that you're adding value to the person that you're speaking to. The next thing is quality versus quantity. I try, when I'm in a networking situation, to walk away with at least 5 to 10 solid contacts, even if it's 1,000 people, 100 people, it doesn't matter. I think as business owners, we tend to focus on quantity as opposed to quality. But if I don't get to know that person and know how I can help them, it's on the surface. And when I go back to my office, I won't know any more about them than when I first started. So spend time with people that you're networking with. Get to know their interests. Make sure you walk away with some good, solid contacts as opposed to a pocket full of cards and you don't know how you're going to help them at all. And they don't really know anything about you. And then the last tip is doing business with people. Do business with people, not necessarily businesses, unless you have a brand like McDonald's or Office Depot. If you're a small business owner, chances are somebody's going to refer you based on your personality, based on something you said that is good. They're not referring you as a business. They're referring you because they like you as a person. So that's one of the reasons you should spend time with people as opposed to just going around collecting business cards. Okay, tip number 10 is form strategic partnerships. And what I mean by strategic is, click that again. Go back. There you go. All right, move forward. There's something on top of it. I don't know what it is. Okay, not all, any old partnership. Strategic is the key word. As business owners, I know we want to become partners with a lot of different organizations, but make sure it's worth your time. Make sure it's strategic. I partner up, of course, with the Contracting and Compliance Division. And I also partner up with the DeKalb Chambers and the Gwinnett Chambers and the Rockdale Chamber to do some of the things that I would like to do. So make sure when you're doing partnerships, especially when you're doing sponsorships, because a lot of people come to business owners and say, can you sponsor this, can you sponsor this? But if it's not targeted towards your target audience, why are you giving them money? So make sure you're thinking about that at the back of your head. That is strategic. And there's two ways to partner with us, obviously as a client, and then the second one as a partner. We have a host of partnership opportunities that we have. We do networking and other different things. But just as a note, I generally will speak to any business group for free. There is a fee at the Commerce Club if anybody's interested in holding something at the Commerce Club. But I do have a membership, so a lot of business groups ask if they can just meet me at the Commerce Club and do something. But I do generally do these things for free, and I think I'm doing something October the 29th for the okay. October the 29th, DeKalb County is having a green expo that I'm supposed to be speaking at. So hopefully you can join us out for that too. But I don't know if they want to take questions now, but that is all that I have for business and legal tips. And like I said, you're going to get a copy of this emailed out to you. So I know that's a lot of information, really, really fast. If you need me to go over something or expound on something, as long as they don't pull the mic from my hand, I will